to the fashion section. I don't know how I'm going to be able to manage this all the time, but I'm going to try my best. So what you're seeing here is the piece that I had sewn yesterday. And this section over here is where I usually take the photographs for Poshmark. Now, I just need to figure out if I can, hold on a second, plug in an earpiece. Hold on. Okay, so now I have to see which, oh, hold on, is this even live? 2 seconds. Is this live? I don't know if this is live. Interesting. I should be able to technically edit, right? Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so it is live. Let me see if I can connect my. I don't know if this is gonna work. Let's give this a try. I don't know. The iPad over the phone, because I don't think this works in here. Just see. No, it does not fit. Okay. So we're gonna have it without the speaker, I guess. We're gonna just work with this. Sorry if the I could use the other one, but I'm not gonna go through it. So my hands need to be free. I do need a Bluetooth. This one is not connecting for some reason, and this does not fit into my whatchamacallit. So what I'm doing right now is we are looking at Poshmark because I have to do my Poshmark every day. I don't think I've recorded talking about this. So I'm going to just walk you through what I have here. This is my Poshmark, the back end of Poshmark. And they changed it up. They've edited things and new settings. Drafts. Okay, I'll put the drafts on just now. So when you go in, you can create your own. I'll just do this again. I'm not going to upload because I've already done that. This is one of the pieces that I made yesterday. Let's just see if it is here. Okay. So I'll walk you through it. So I've uploaded the images. You have to obviously center it. Make sure that you don't have any sound. If you do have sound, make it like interesting because it does pick up the sound. You can silence the sound. This is one of the pieces that I made yesterday. Now I'm posting it on Poshmark to sell, so you can see that you can indeed oops, volume's down. You can indeed deal with creating your own items and using that for Poshmark. The backdrop should technically be, if you're going to be wise about it, white. I studied photography and the arts, so I know that even though my soundproofing was like red, I was like, eventually it's going to have to be white. So the soundproofing you see I've actually made, and I created the material over it, which also falls into where I now present my Poshmark. And I have, like you can see, this is a swivel chair. So the swivel chair is kind of useful if you're looking for ways to kind of create uh, something you can kind of move around, like I do with my pictures. I try to make it look as professional as possible. The mannequins I brought back from South Africa. This mannequin had a bit of a problem because it was material underneath and I kind of blotched it. But I was lucky to find a cover. I actually got this cover on Poshmark, believe it or not. This cover on Poshmark where it actually was a perfect fit for the mannequin. So I'm like, okay, just leave that alone. I thought that that was important to do. So you're seeing right now my layout. Okay, besides me doing the fashion, my layout for Poshmark, and that's what you're seeing right now. Is that you're watching me rework the space. I should technically be sewing some more. I have put these ones up as well for Poshmark. But this is the space that I use for my fashion, and the painting below is one of my pieces. So I thought that the background was like kind of suitable for that situation, right? I'm not selling anything uh, on YouTube. It's not. I don't have anything to sell on YouTube. You can find my stuff on Poshmark at this moment because that is where. And I'll just show you what this looks like on. I don't know if I posted it like this. Maybe I go back. I'm going to go back in to one of my. Yeah, I'm going to go back in and post it on the neck. I don't think I did that. I'll do that now, just to give it a. Okay, so we're going to post this on the neck. I don't think I actually did that. Indeed. Let's see. Okay. So now I'm going to go on to my Poshmark. Okay, so I have already done the backdrop and stuff. The details are important. Give a proper description. When you do Poshmark, make sure the description is solid. Also give measurements. Measurements do matter. Okay, that's important. I find that if you don't have the measurements on there, people have like they have questions and then they need answers. It's just easier to do everything on the spot right there and then. My headset's not working at the moment, and this does not fit into my iPad because I need to use my phone for work, right? So I usually film on my phone for the lives, but because I'm not using the live at the moment, this is what I need to do. Okay, so now I have to go in and find that necklace. Let's find knit. We're going to. Oh, I did. Okay, well, I did put it on there, but let's. It is on my other, like my head mannequin, right? But let's put it on this and see if it gets a little bit more attention. I think. Oh, 3 people like it already. You see, this is one of the pieces that I made, and 3 people always. It's the handmade is also very useful because if it's something you can't find, handmade sells. I'm talking about Poshmark. Handmade sells on Poshmark. So I sell on Poshmark. I sometimes make things. I don't always make stuff, but lately I've been producing my own things, and I post them, and I give descriptions and explanations, right? And this section over here is where I generally do my Poshmark. So this setup is what people see when they get onto Poshmark and they shop my, I don't know, they call it closet, but I say a store because I think the store is a little bit more appropriate for what it really is, right? You're working from home. It's like setting up a proper store. For me, it's a store. So some people, maybe it's not a store, but for me, it's definitely store related, right? Okay, so I'm going to go on to here and we're going to actually, if it's already been liked, let's see the one that hasn't been appreciated as much. Let's see this one. Not as much. People want, I mean, let's see if we can make this into a necklace. Let's see if this could be a necklacey thing. They don't want if the bracelets are going to be bracelets, I find that the necklaces need to be a little bit longer. Let's see. Can this be a necklace? Yeah, it possibly can. Let's let's adjust this to suit a necklace. Let me do this. Let me add one more thread since I have this here. Okay. So I'm gonna just add a little bit more leather on here, I think. So let me just find, is there enough leather? Yeah. A little bit more leather. I'm gonna strengthen the leather out and then make it a necklace then. Yeah, we'll adjust it. So you're gonna see me. I'm busy. I'm gonna adjust this right now. So this is my Poshmark layout. So if you're interested in what I do daily, this is like I either make stuff or I'm on selling stock on Poshmark. Well, stock that I organize. So sometimes I end up buying things and I have to purchase, but I never go. Everybody talks about, oh, you have to go to like Goodwill and stuff. I don't go to Goodwill. I prefer to either make my own stuff or I buy things that are new at the store because I find at this stage after what happened uh, during our, the world had that problem like in 2021, I get a little skeptical about the things that are placed uh in the Goodwills. So for me it's more about, I think it's more about keeping everybody safe. So I've just thought it's, if you can make stuff, you can make stuff and sell it. Just like the same applies for Etsy. I don't do Etsy because Etsy gets too complicated and all of this shipping out around the world gets complex. So I stick to my Poshmark. But now you're seeing Poshmark. I'm standing here. I'm going to sit down for a little bit because of my leg. But this is my Poshmark. I don't know the volume. I know it's probably bad. Let's see if I can pull out the other. The problem is I need to move around, and at this point, if I cannot, let's see if I can just adjust this. Can I knot this? I could probably sew that on, right? Oops. So I don't have a group of people sewing or making stuff. I do it myself. I tried it before with people in South Africa, but it became a complicated circumstance because when I was doing my nonprofit organization, I had big projects and big plans and big visions. And when I said, okay, guys, here's the materials, now let's do the work, everybody kind of like ducked on me. I was like, oh, okay, so you guys don't want to do the work, but they want the money. So I was like, if you don't want I can't make money with nobody working. You can't expect me to give money out unless there's work to be done. So in the end, I just found it more realistic to just make my own stuff because I got tired of dealing with people, and that's why I do what I do now because I don't need that in my life at this stage. I am just getting too old for drama, and I am thankful that Poshmark is like a good place to. Let's see, is that stable? Do one more knot there. Yeah, that's stable. Okay, so I'm lengthening out this so I could probably make it into a necklace more than, well, both. It could be a bracelet or a necklace, right? But it's just add some more leather there. This is my Poshmark corner. So you're seeing my Poshmark. I can't use this is not working for the phone or this at the moment, but I'll have it there anyway. Okay, let me just see. Okay, one more. One more on here. More on here. Now I think this could be a form of a necklace too. This could also be a necklace. So let's make that a necklace then. It was a little dinky. It was a little small. Even I have to admit it was a little dinky. So we're going to just adjust it and modify it as a necklace now. Okay. Add some more leather to it, right? Just as well I found that other last piece of leather here. So this is the craft side of my life. Never the fun part. The fun part is the music production, right? Which I'll do at around 4. But for now, I have to do my Poshmark. So you guys are getting a chance to see the boring side, the money making side. This is what makes me the money. Okay. This is where my money comes in. It doesn't. And it took me years to set this up. This is not an overnight thing. I had moved this section around between this room and then the other room, only to realize all I needed to do was just change the color of the back of the soundproofing. And the soundproofing you can do for your you can either use the recording studio just as is, because I have music equipment as well, or you can create it for the fashion side. And I've always been doing the fashion, textile, wearable art stuff. This is nothing new for me. This is something that I've just generally done. I guess I could do that. Let's just make this a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see if this does a better job. I'm going in to modify. So this is the one, right? So we're gonna just do this then. So instead of it just being a bracelet, we're now going to look at it as a necklace as well. It's a smaller necklace, but it's a necklace. Okay. Actually, let's use the other mannequin. Hold on a second. I'll be back. I have 2 mannequins. Let's put, here's the mannequin. This mannequin is just a little bit more exposed, which is like, I guess that's what a mannequin is, right? But still. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on the mannequin here. Let's see if this makes a difference. And I was technically doing this on. No, I wasn't. I didn't have time to do all of this stuff on the other platform. I was on the other apps, and the other apps. That's my other mannequin. Hopefully it stays. I like the fact that it looks like a paper mache version, but it looks nicer when I take photographs of like necklaces. So I'm gonna use this. Oops, why is this? This is my closet, so I'll show you just now the boxes. I haven't gotten orders lately, but I think it's like one of those days, right? So you're seeing me take a photograph. It's just gonna be reorchestrated here. You can just, okay. And this is a stool. So if you're looking for a solution to, and I think it takes time to come up with your own format and layout of a space that could be purposed for reasonable photographs, because you need to have good photographs to take to market. It's not just your quality needs to be decent, right? It's not just like a game anymore. Now we're talking like developing product. I guess that would be fine. And products need to be promoted in a certain way, just like I'm doing on my channel. Okay, so instead of just a bracelet, I'm now going to write, and this is what the back end looks. So you have to do a lot of writing still. You need to type. Typing matters here, okay? So this description at the moment says handcrafted, hand knitted bracelet. I'm going to just change it to bracelet or necklace. Okay. Okay, so this is one size. Okay, now or bracelet. So let's see if that makes a difference. The other one's got a lot of attention, but this one didn't get as much. So I'm going to go, yeah, I'm just adjusting one size. It's going to be new with tags. My tags are like cranes. I usually have cranes. I'll show you my cranes. We'll do that later. I think that's okay. Or necklace. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I adjusted this. So instead of it just being a bracelet, we've now created imagery that will be, and you can tap, imagery created for a necklace form too. But you see the quality of the pictures turn out better if you have something that's white in the background. I remember when I was doing photography, it was always about making sure the white background, the background is either white or clean if you're going to do portraits. And obviously, if you're going to do other photographs, it's just something a little bit different. So I guess that's basically it. I have two mannequins, and both are good for different purposes. This is great for, I think it's great for jewelry. It's also good to put on other garments, but I think not all the time. I only use that for certain situations. So you got a chance to see how that works. Let's see if I have more things to post today. Oops. Oops. Okay. So I'm using a relatively small space, but it took me a few years to put it together, right? To make it actually a space that could be used for garments, for Poshmark, because I mean you can do this. I also have these photographs on Whatnot. I haven't done it recently, but Whatnot is the other place I also use to market, right? And then in here is my little closet. And if you don't know, Poshmark, I'm gonna pull this out, but Poshmark gives out, like on their app, Poshmark actually organizes free shipping supplies. And I find that the shipping supplies are super useful. Ground shipping, right? Because it's for the States, or anywhere for that matter, at the States. So these are from, they send these directly from Poshmark, which is so cool. They were starting to roll this out, and they did roll it out, so now we're all able to access this. I don't know if other apps have that accessibility, but I do appreciate that Poshmark has started doing that. Different size boxes too, right? Which is super cool. I'm going to just pull these out. So I have these ready to go. And then it's like an easy situation. No need to panic type of scenario. I'm going to throw that out. These here. These here. Okay, hopefully that stays. And then shipping supplies, right? I'll throw this out. I'm going to retake a photograph of this. And, you know, everybody says upload 5 a day or 6 a day. That's great if you have a huge space. But I don't have a huge space. We have a small space. So I have to work with not a very big size space. You have to kind of think about your scenario. In my case, I have to sometimes use digital art pieces to put on because there's no way I don't have a storage. That's my storage. It's not huge. My storage is tiny. I'm just gonna go ahead and re-upload this. Let me just see. So we're going to take another photograph of this. Okay. This is a good time for me to do my Poshmark. So you get a chance to see where I'm technically earning the money, right? It's all from home, which I like. I do appreciate that. Before I was in, before I was teaching music in schools, but I bought equipment and I brought these mannequins back. So I kind of saved myself with, uh, with having things that are kind of brought together. Okay, so let's take another photograph of this. This is just like no go here. The tags. I'm pretty sure I put that in, but okay. Do it again. What I am going to do is I have to charge my phone. We're going to take this every one. Okay, so I'm going to take this again. Okay. Yeah, this is a work with me video. This is actually a good jacket, but it hasn't, like, nothing's really happened to this one. So here I am busy working on and I just finished exercising. I wear the waist trainer because sometimes I have back pain, and I find that the waist trainer kind of holds everything together. For me, at least, because I have a permanent injury with the rod. Let me just see. Oh yeah, it's probably bigger than this. So the rod that I have in my leg is about that big, maybe few inches more. That's about what I have to deal with in my leg. So that's what I'm dealing with. So the waist trainer becomes my kind of like safety belt, right? Safety, yeah, literally. Because sometimes my positioning is just not good. Okay, replace. Do this over again. And I used to buy a lot more things. Lately, I haven't been able to afford buying a lot of things, so I have to kind of make do with what this doesn't look. Make do with what I'm able to afford at this stage. I just don't do the Goodwill thing. It's just not my I just don't necessarily agree with it. It's not something I personally think is always a good idea. I think sometimes it's probably not always a good idea. But making stuff is probably a very useful thing because now you're creating your own thing, right? I would sell these, but they're too big to ship out. I make soundproofing as well. But this costs an arm and a leg to try shipping out, so I'm not even gonna attempt that. Right? Yeah. That. Try this again. Replace. So people say always post, but now that they've updated, I know for a fact Poshmark is probably preferring people to update uh, their imagery. I don't necessarily sell online. I used to, but then I stopped because of all the drama. So I stopped doing that. And I just find that if I post, I can just re-upload some of the images. And I know some people sell faster on the lives, but it's sometimes, and then you have problems with clients. So I don't do that. I don't want to go through that drama. So I kind of keep it low key, right? This is my low key way. I post rather than going live, technically speaking. It just makes it a little bit easier. And they have requested people to update their things. Like the sizes are different. So in theory, updating your imagery is probably a better bet. And I find that when I update it, I sell things. So if you update all the old posts, you can absolutely still earn. I've been having luck. I've been having good luck posting and selling, the old inventory that I have. And they've updated, so they want people to update their images. So I gather that that's what we're doing here. Delete. And the imagery is good. Yeah, I think they're requiring people to. At this stage, it's probably good to update. 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 Okay, so did I miss anything? Aligning. Yeah. Good lining. Okay. Now, do I have the measurements? I do. And then what I do sometimes is because I've noticed that people try to um people think that I don't do so what I do is instead of trying to explain to people, I've made a listing that, hold on, let's see if I can find it again. I put a listing up with some of the inventory that says, just as a reminder, I do not shop at Goodwill. I do not treat my shop as one. Please do not treat my shop as one. Please and thank you. So I want people to know that sometimes you can't just automatically assume that everybody's going to sell stuff for cheap. It doesn't happen. We don't all own Goodwill stores. This is not a Goodwill store. It's like, especially the stuff that I make, this is not Goodwill. I produce things, so therefore it's always brand new, right? When I'm making things. Okay. And I'm just updating. So today I'm going to update some of my inventory, right? And I think that's important to recognize. Oh yeah, that jacket's also there. Okay. Okay. So I find uploading inventory is just as not like repurposing, not repurposing, but like adjusting and modifying, making sure that the inventory fits there. Like, look at what they've done. Poshmark is updated, so they want to see a portrait, not like a square. You see, so these ones I know I have to update. So I think the best way to, if you don't have a lot of inventory to constantly buy, which I do not have, the best way to do this is to actually re-upload some of this inventory that you have, and then put it up there for sale again. And this is my closet, so this is my little Poshmark section, my little clothing, and then what's this? Why is this right there? Why did it snag? That's interesting. Okay, now I'm going to take my shoes out over here. Oh my goodness, there's like lots of stuff. Lots and lots of stuff that I need to sort out later. Okay. So we're going to pull out those shoes. But this is how you make money, folks. You don't just, go back and rework the shoes. So I'm going to do the shoes today, I think. This is actually a perfect time too if I need to go live. I'm live doing this. It gets kind of boring though, right? Okay, so we're going to do these shoes again. Okay, and then before I do anything, I have to close the door, right? So I'll be closing the door. The shoes are slightly empty. Okay. And I find that if you have inventory that's close by to you, right? Like say for instance, it's just easier to pull it out. I'm also going to do these ones. And these. And these. And I'll do that later. So these shoes. They're a bit small for most people, I think. Okay. So that's my closet. And that is the storage space. And that's as much as I have. So I can't have 50 million things to sell all at once, even though they have that new project where they have people sending over inventory, right? I just don't have the space. I mean, if we had more space and eventually if we had like a house, maybe. But at this time, we have to work with what we got. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working with what we got. Okay, so this is my Poshmark, and I don't have to look perfect for this because this is what we have to deal with. Maybe later on I dress up a little bit. Who knows? But as you can see, this is what I do on Poshmark. I use this wall specifically. Okay, so we're going to go in and adjust this. Okay, so I'm going to fix this up because I had my plans to fixing it up. Let's do this. These are actually quite comfortable. Yeah. I think maybe that's a better way to do it. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, so I'm just reworking. And then you can see the swivel chair becomes very useful because, wait, let's do this way. Because it becomes easy to move around. But I had to think through all this stuff. It's not like I'm just not the type of person to go live. I'll go live on YouTube, but I don't like going live and having to deal with too much stuff because it just gets too stressful. And then when people try to send requests to cancel, then I don't like that. So best for people to browse my store / closets rather than me trying to convince them that it's a great piece. They have to just, I think if you look at it and then analyze this, I think it becomes a better bet. Just my personal take on it, because as somebody who likes to do shopping, likes to buy stuff, I don't always like to have people breathing on me to suggest something. I sort of like to keep it. It's not really been. It really been more. Okay. place. So what you're seeing right now is me. I don't know if anybody's on here. I don't think they are. Because I'm just working through this. Okay. And on YouTube, I'm literally just splitting up my day for different things and projects. I work from home. I work by myself, for myself at the moment. I lost my job during COVID because, yeah, I made these. When I made these, they fired me for wearing my own masks at work. It was ridiculous. Not because I didn't know how to do it, but because people were, this was before COVID. So when COVID hit, I was making the masks before it actually was like talked about. And this is how I got fired. I got fired because I made something they had never seen before. So I don't know. America versus Japan. I don't know why people panicked here. Okay, so there you go. And here is my. Uh-oh. I'll check now. Adidas women's sneakers, size 6. Technically, I think let's do men's. I think it's actually men's. Shoes, athletic shoes, size 4. What is it? Okay, so now I've updated, and when you update on Poshmark, it's probably a good thing to update. I like that you can what they're asking people. Sometimes they're asking people to put a white background, but I think if you have a good aesthetics, it should be okay. Why is that still there? Let's take that one out. What's this? Delete. What's this? Delete. Okay, and only keep the ones that I just posted. I think that's fine. Replace. Okay. Okay. So I've updated that. So I'm going through my inventory that I already have because I don't buy stuff from Goodwill. I'm sorry to say, but there is another way around the Goodwill concern. Making stuff could also be another avenue, which I think not enough people talk about on Poshmark. I think it's important to talk about it because I mean I know there's upcycling, so people recreate. Like I might consider upcycling these brand new pair of pants that people are just like swiping past. They're really nice. This I have up. I got brand new, but there was a little bit of a problem with the lower section, so I have to sew it. Right, so I have to sew the section, but it is brand new. However, the leather is really nice, and I was thinking about making maybe a leather jacket. maybe a leather jacket out of it. I don't have to think about how I'm going to do that, though, if I do. I don't know. So upcycling is another format. You could definitely do that, yes. So I'm still debating. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't cut it. Just want to see if anybody is interested in those. And take it from there, right? So I've been on for an hour, almost an hour, right? Okay, what else do I have to do for Poshmark? I have these other items. Let me just do this. I think this is like shame. They've been sitting for a little bit, so they're a little flat. I have a little bit of an indentation here. And these pieces I've collected. I've either worn them. I don't think I wore these. Maybe I think I've had these, but I haven't technically worn these anywhere. There's a little bit of a. Let's put a little bit of, what should I put in here? Just like a little bit of spacing. I don't think I have shoe trees. I don't think I have shoe trees. Let's see. What I will do is. And I'll just leave these in here. Right, just give a little bit of. So they've lost their shape a little, but I think that will help a little bit just to keep it shaped. I'll just keep it in there. I just haven't had that in. And then this obviously is, yeah. Anyway. Okay. Now we do this one. So this is my little presentation space, right? I don't have a big enough space to sell a whole bunch of things. So I've kind of left it. It's just our place is just not big enough. It's just not going to work. So I've left it alone. I have other things that I'd probably do instead of stressing out about that too much. Okay. I'm a little bit more of a type of person who prefers, let me just see shoes. Who prefers, oh, I also need to do those ones as well. Yeah, it's a shoe day for sure. Shoe day. Okay, let's fix these up. Edit. Here's a light, a camera light. Okay. Place. Swivel chair, always good to have. Okay, so I just if you're going to do Poshmark, I just recommend to go back and I think it's important to go back and relook at your inventory. I don't think you need to always buy stuff. I think you just need to constantly update your things, right? I think updating is like the most important part. They have an AI, so you don't want an AI system as well. So you don't want to go too crazy on overdoing it, I think. Right. Yeah, I never really do this on here. This is due to, I guess it's just due to replace. Let's just do these little sections and then give an explanation. How do they look now? Somewhere over there. Is that leather? I don't think that's leather. That's interesting. I think that's leather at the top. That should not have been. Okay, it's good to know. Okay. And always be descriptive, right? Always be descriptive on how you go about doing this. Okay, so now we're going to do the video. Place. Yeah, so I recommend going in and oops, that's not gonna work. Let's try that again. We'll just do it like this then. Okay. Start over, place. Put the light on. Oops. Okay. And then there's a little button here. If you want to go silent, you can. Right. Okay. I may only do an hour, so I can just get some more done, I guess. Okay, so what do I have here? Yeah, I find more people are interested in new products. Not like new. That's Okay. So this is what it looks like after I take the imagery, right? So you saw me how I set it up. And I just think it's beautifully done. I think Poshmark did a great job. So what my thing is if they're going to make it look like a Vogue type of format, I think that's the best way to respect the space is to upgrade what you have now too, right? So that's how it goes. And not I'm not always going to go live doing music production, which is fun to watch. This is definitely where I make the money with Poshmark because that's just what it is. Before I was making money with music education because there's more money in music education than to try to attempt to produce music for the masses. That has never been my plan. It was always for educational purposes. So I will continue doing my music for educational purposes. Okay, that's how I deal with that. Okay. I wonder if it's too much. Shoes. I have to go get some food, I think, right? Let's fix these up. So I seriously think they just want us to update stuff at this point. Yeah, I have plenty of inventory. I don't think you always need to constantly buy new stuff. If you have things that are still in your collection, re kind of rework it. That's how I get my clients or I get regular sales, right? Is that it's all about updating. Right? All about updating. And I seriously think that's what's going on. I think Poshmark does want us to update. I think they want to make sure that you have all the inventory because now what's happening is that Poshmark is coming down hard on people who are constantly deleting. I don't delete stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing, but I don't generally delete things on my Poshmark. If I do, it's just something that's just ridiculous, so I don't bother with it, and then it comes down. But it's not like I let's re-upload that. So instead of bringing it down, I just recommend that you update. Just update the ones you have already. I don't think enough people talk about that, actually. I think more people are talking about having the inventory and buying and posting thousands and thousands of things, but if you don't have the space to post thousands and thousands of things, think enough people, then it's not really going to help anybody's situation, right? Um, yeah, yeah. New updates. Oops. Let's just fix this. These are old. Try to get all the. I think that's what it is. Just like you upload for a website, or like I was updating um, my YouTube channel. I think you're supposed to be doing that with all the sites. I have a whole bunch of sites as well, but that I've built. But I don't do that as often because the new sites are like at the moment Poshmark for me and YouTube. So that's my like go to at the moment. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so I'm just updating today. I think they require people to update their stuff. This is for Poshmark. What you're seeing here is my layout of how I update or post post inventory for Poshmark, and that's what people are looking at. And I sell on there. That's what I do. That's like my thing. I tried to connect my earpiece to my iPad, but it's not working. So I'm sorry if it's like just me talking from a distance. One of those days I need my phone for Poshmark. So that is what I'm doing today. Phone stuff. Okay. What else do I need to update here? And I know it's Earth Day, so I'm sure everybody's out enjoying their day, right? So I don't want to push people into no pressure, no pressure, no pressure. And then here's my crazy closet. I haven't done the shoes, so I figured maybe today is a good day for taking the shoes, right? So these shoes are a little crazy. They were. Let's do these. I don't know if anybody's gonna take these, but that's okay. We'll do them anyway. So it's a shoe day for me and my updates. Oh, you going in there too? Okay, excuse me. Excuse me. You going in? You coming out? What's the plan? Okay, I need to close the door though. Excuse me. Thank you. Door. Okay. So we're gonna do this. Yeah, my leg. I can feel my legs a little crazy right now. I wore them a few times, but I don't know what happened here. Okay, so I'm gonna just post them anyway. Hopefully the lighting is better. I'm doing Poshmark. This is my Poshmark, and I'm not buying new inventory. I'm re-uploading. Like you can't delete items. You have to re-upload the imagery. I think Poshmark is coming down hard on people who are constantly deleting things. So I'm not one of those people who hasn't deleted regularly, right? So this is my space, my layout. And this is how I earn money, folks. This is where I'm making the money from Poshmark. With my own stuff. At the moment. At the moment. Right. So if you're wanting to make money from home and you're living in the States, I mean, Whatnot is overseas as well. You can do that. I can show people how to do a Whatnot. But there is more money. I also do music. There's more money to make by repurposing and reselling your stuff than to attempt to try to earn that same amount of money with selling a song, a track on the internet. It's not reasonable. Maybe for some people, but I know that I know the realistic side of it. Okay, I've seen how it works. I was doing music for I did some tracks for Big Brother Africa, and I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid for it. They didn't pay me, or I didn't have it set up. I had Samro, and Samro didn't pay me, and it was just a mess. So I'm not going to get into all of that crazy stuff, but I do know how it is. Okay, and then we're gonna upload these. Okay. Okay, so I gotta make 2 copies. What? Obviously, need double. Okay. So that's basically this one. And then I'll do that to all the, I think today is the day where I'm going to, oh, somebody, see? Wait, what happened here? Did somebody like something that I didn't notice? Oh, I see. When did I do that? That's so interesting. And there are ways to push the sales. You can actually go in and like send bundles or group shares to items. I do it sometimes, but I don't like to pressure people. I don't go on the lives and do the live thing because I just feel like that's too much pressure. And for me, I when I stress out, I get pretty sick. So I don't do all of the things that, and I still earn money. I don't make fortunes, but I'm earning something. I earn something to be able to keep this going. I think that's the biggest. It's not really a. No, he's not here. Where's Dior? So yeah, the shoes are stuck sitting for a little bit. Let's get the shoes out too. Rework the shoes. This is the time to do it. Yeah, I don't have a ton of inventory that I have to constantly buy, but I think I have a lot of stuff. I think I have to say that in some senses I might have too much stuff. So let's start with these. Let's start with these and then move around. Move around sections. So you're seeing me do my inventory check, I guess, right? So that's good. Okay. So I'm not going in and doing a new format. I'm just going in and re-uploading better images or imagery, right? Okay. I sort of had to do this, so just as well I'm doing it today. In some cases, I'm going off and buying stuff, and in other cases, I'm ordering things online. And in other situations, I probably will do a little bit of sewing in a few moments. But I want to get this sort of done. Ooh, my phone is definitely taking a bit of a toll here. So this is it's an off-white. Isn't that interesting? It's like this neon color. It wasn't white, like real white. It was cream. Okay. And sometimes it's just the images that need to be reassessed, right? Or other times it just doesn't sell. Like these have been in my inventory for a while. And I think Poshmark does want you to go in and technically update. Just like they updated their site, we have to update our own sections. And I think that's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. I think that is very fair. I haven't done my shoes in a while, so this is probably a good thing that I'm doing this. So I don't always think you need to, and I usually would post 5 a day, but I've also found that another way to succeed on Poshmark is not just to post 5 items a day, but rather um, updating your inventory, updating the pictures, because I think it works just as well. Let me just there's this one section that I didn't notice. And you have to give, if there's a little bit of damage, you have to give a description on what you have here, because it needs to be, you want people to know what they're dealing with. Okay, so yeah, so I think it's a combination of things when it is like Poshmark stuff is you have to have good visuals. I think thank goodness I studied photography because I understand that marketing relates to taking quality photographs and the space. Like you need to set up your space accordingly. So it's not just about the product, but if the product is not posted accurately or looks decent in a picture, people are not going to buy it. So that's like the thing, right? That's another part of the process. Okay, so let me see. I think for now I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get off the live, even though it's only been about an hour, and then I will do some more later. Okay. So this is a Poshmark moment. Okay, folks, thank you for popping over. I will be back later. Okay, have a good one.